welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my sewing conversations over coffee. I'm really enjoying these little morning sessions with you guys, just talking about general sewing sort of chit chat, things that you might like to know, things that I might think might help you guys as well. So if you have any topics you'd like me to discuss, pop them in the comments below. So welcome back. It's Monday morning. I'm in my sitting room today. It's a bit of a different location because my sewing studio is a bit chilly in the mornings now. It's autumn. We're right bang smack in the middle of autumn now, and the mornings are a bit chilly, so I have to warm it up for about half an hour before I can even attempt to go up there because I get super cold. So my heater's on, ready to go. I have a full sewing day ahead of me. So I'm sat in my sitting room with my coffee, talking to you guys. So this morning I wanted to come on and talk about inspiration. So yesterday I had a lovely sew day. I sewed all day up in my studio. I finished my York pinafore, which I've had on my to make list for a little while now. I've been looking for fabrics, and if you watched my last vlog, my last end of month vlog, you'll see on there that I was planning on doing that this month. So I'm really pleased that I got up to the studio yesterday and I sewed that. My daughter was with me as well, and she made this very cute bunny. So it was a little bit stressful at times. I don't know if you have children that like to sew with you, and it all sounds amazing and lovely and all those things, but it is a little bit stressful. She hasn't got all the patience. She gets rather cross if it doesn't go right, but she has got a little sewing book that she uses. It's got some fab ideas in there for children and just sewing in general, just fun little ideas. So I kind of just left her to it in the room with me, helped her when and as she needed it, and she's made this gorgeous bunny. So she's quite pleased overall, but there was quite a few angry faces along the way. And that's made me sort of think about my topic today, and I thought we could talk about inspiration. So in my social sewing community group on Facebook, one of the questions when you join the group, when you're asked to join the group at the start, is what are you looking for from the group? And probably like 80% of people put on there for finding ideas and inspiration. And I think it's one of those things, there's so many potential things you could sew and make, or craft, or whatever you do. So where do you start? How do you choose? It can be quite overwhelming at times. So I thought this would be a fab topic to come on and discuss with you guys. So inspiration for me, I find it all over the place. Pinterest is a massive one. I love Pinterest, and I'm going to put my Pinterest board down in the comments here. I've got a few different boards, but I've got a couple of sewing ones that I really enjoy pinning on, and I find loads of inspiration from there. From people all over the world, all different types of ideas, and I love seeing all the different kind of techniques and creations that people inspire to make and share on Pinterest that you can sort of get that inspiration from. So I really, really love Pinterest. That's sort of one of those things that you can get lost in as well. So quite often I find myself having a scroll on Pinterest on my phone, and then like an hour later I'm like, oh my god, what have I been doing? I've just been sat here pinning on Pinterest, and quite often I forget what I've even pinned in the past. So sometimes I have to go back and look at my own boards to remind myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to make that. So yeah, I really like Pinterest. That's a really cool one for inspiration. And the other thing that I really enjoy getting inspiration from, collecting inspiration from, are magazines. So a couple of reasons why I enjoy magazines is, one, it gets you away from technology. I spend a lot of time on my phone, recording, on the laptop. My business is run around technology quite a lot, even though it's a sewing business. So for me, it's quite nice to sit down without technology and look at a magazine. And something light and easy to read, and sewing or craft magazines are perfect for that. So inspiration from magazines. So I really like Simply Sewing. That's one of my favourite. And I like it because it's really light reading. It's got some great ideas in there, and you also get patterns with them, which is fantastic. And I talked about my last blog actually, because one of the patterns I received, I think it might have been this one I was talking about actually, the pencil skirt, maybe. I made the beer blouse as well. That was in the last vlog, but I spoke about getting the patterns, and the reason I really enjoy getting the patterns as well is because quite often there'll be things that I would not think about buying myself. So for instance, this autumn dress that was included in this month's Simply Sewing magazine, this is not something I would buy, a pattern I would buy to make for myself. It's not really my style, but the pattern is free. And it's a great way to try out different makes, different projects. So it gives you inspiration straight away. And it also makes you think outside the box a little bit and not go for your norm. So that's what I really love as well about these magazines. And they're pretty simple projects. They're all fairly easy to follow along. So they're great for beginners too. And you can really, really quickly build up your stash of projects and patterns to have ready at hand to make. So sewing magazines are a great source of inspiration. So let me know in the comments, where do you find inspiration? Do you have a sewing subscription maybe that you get every month? Or do you enjoy Pinterest? Or is there somewhere else that you find inspiration? Do you just like looking around the shops to find inspiration for this season's makes and things, colours and fabrics? And do you just like going to fabric stores and you just find inspiration there? You know, where do you guys find it too? I'd love to know. But yes, magazines are definitely, I love. And also I love that you can have, you know, old ones and go back over them and they just come back round again. There's always fantastic ideas. These ones are really lovely. The Homemaker. Somebody gave me these actually. I hadn't bought these previously myself, but they are great little magazines and they've got all sorts of craft ideas in there as well as sewing. Yeah, just to inspire you really. So I really enjoy that. And then, you know, books and things, like my daughter found inspiration from her little sewing book to make her little bunny. That's also a really good way to find inspiration. So it can be really hard to decide what you're going to make next. And I think the key is really to not overthink it. If you see something you like, you're like, oh, I really like, maybe that's the one. Maybe just go with your gut instinct. I'm definitely going to be making this little pencil skirt, by the way, for my latest Simply Sewing magazine. But yeah, just sort of go with your gut, what you like, what you think you can achieve as well, because some patterns are for beginners and some are more advanced. So double check, have a look. And a lot, these patterns don't, because they're free in the magazine, but a lot of patterns you buy will tell you that it's easy or for beginners. So if you're just starting out, then certainly choose those types of patterns. But yeah, inspiration, where do you find it? How do you use what you find as well? How do you store what you find? That's another thing, isn't it? We can feel inspired by things, but it doesn't mean that we're going to use that inspiration straight away. So how do you store your inspiration? Have you got a book? I haven't, but I actually would really like to get like a journal where I sort of journal all of my sewing inspiration. I have one for my business a little bit, but I don't for my personal make. So that could be something I'd really like to get on board with actually. So if you do that already, I'd love to know, you know, what do you put in your journal, your sewing journal, or your notebook or whatever it is? How do you save your inspiration and ideas ready for when you're ready to use them? So yes, so I'd love to know where you find inspiration, how you store it, how you keep it ready to use, and yeah, any top tips or ideas you've got, share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And also tell me what you're making next. What are you feeling inspired to get sewing next? And that's all for today. I'm going to finish my coffee. I really need to get to work. Got loads of sewing to do today. And also, just to let you know, my next end of month vlog will be coming up at the weekend. And I'm going to be sharing with you my York pinafore, which I loved making, a little review of the pattern and how it turned out. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see my videos popping up. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye.